Awesome. All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co-host, Jake Ellenbogen, and we are continuing with our 2022 NFL Draft Prospect interviews. And joining us on the show right now, we have Jack Sorenson, wide receiver from Miami, Ohio. How are you doing, Jack?
Good. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, we're excited to talk with you and appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited.
And just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football, when you started playing, and when was it that you knew that you could play in the NFL one day?
Oh, man. I probably started playing football when I was 6 or 7, whatever grade, like 4th, 5th grade, or however old you are when you're 4th, 5th grade. What is that, like 8? Is that 8 probably?
Yeah, I think like 8.
Yeah, so it's probably right around that age. Just a bunch of guys in my neighborhood just started playing flag football, so I picked it up, and then come middle school, I started tackle, and it was something though funny before I started playing football. It was something that I knew I always wanted to do. In 3rd or 4th grade, we wrote ourselves a letter of what we wanted to be one day, and it gets mailed to us like 20 years later, and so in that letter, I actually wrote like playing football, playing in the NFL, and all these different things. So it's been a dream of mine for ever since I can remember. And I just got the letter not too long ago. So it was pretty surreal looking back, and it's been a dream of mine for a long time. So
that's awesome. That is really cool. I remember writing that same letter, Jack, and I can tell you it did not come true. I wanted to be a professional baseball player and play for the New York Yankees, and I'm not quite that. But anyway, that's pretty awesome though. What would you say, growing up, if you had one, would have been your favorite NFL player?
So I mean, I was born and raised. I think to get room and board in our household, you got to be a Packers fan.
Okay.
So I was born and raised a cheesehead. Both my parents are from Green Bay. My whole entire family lives in Green Bay. So, all my favorite players have been Green Bay players. I wanted to be a quarterback at first, so it used to be Brett Favre, and then it would transition to Aaron Rodgers. But it was probably, receiver-wise, it was Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, it was Randall Cobb, it was all those guys that kind of Jordy Nelson. Were guys that came from smaller programs. I think Greg Jennings was a MAC player. So, just guys like that, against all odds somehow made it and had great careers.
Yeah. When it came time for you to play in college, what was it that made you choose Miami, Ohio?
Yeah, for me, a really important thing for me is life after football. So I want to make sure I have opportunities come whenever football ends, and hopefully that's not for a long time. But I have a super entrepreneurial spirit, and I value the connections that you can make, and the degree that you can get from the school. So Miami kind of offered, of the offers I had, Miami offered the best opportunity to play football after college, as well as the connections to do what I feel like I want to do after football is over.
That's great. Talking about Miami, here's the thing I want to ask you. So assume I'm a recruit and maybe I play the wide receiver position, maybe I play any other position. How are you pitching to me to go to Miami?
Yeah, I think as a receiver, you look at the MAC. The MAC throws the ball a decent amount. But I think at Miami, we complete the ball like 60-something%. So we have a great O-line that gives the quarterback enough time to actually throw the ball. I think that's something that isn't looked at enough, is how often is the QB pressured? How often do they actually get the throw off versus how many attempts they actually have? Because a lot of those attempts can be throwaways, and they're not even opportunities for you to catch the ball. So we have a pretty high percentage of drop back to actually attempts thrown at a receiver, not away. So the opportunities to make plays as a receiver is definitely there. We throw the ball probably 40, 45 times a game. So just being in a system like that, it's an up tempo. You get a lot of plays in per game, and you get a lot of opportunities. And I think if you want to be a receiver and play at the high level, you got to show that you can make a lot of plays. You got to play deep into the fourth quarter after you've already played 60, 70 plays. It's not usually the first or the second play that impresses scouts. It's when you're tired is when everybody's tired and you're on a long 12 play drive. And you're still beating your guy off the line and stuff like that. So you get those opportunities and experiences at Miami.
That was the most methodical answer to that question I have heard throughout the entire process of us interviewing anybody. That was awesome. I loved that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And also playing at Miami, you played against a lot of really tough competition. Yeah. Is there any one guy, maybe a couple guys that stand out to you from your college career that you went up against as being the toughest guy that you had to face?
That's a good question. Yeah, we face pretty good competition every year. I mean, I think this past year, for sure, I think I could say the Cincinnati defense in general was, I think you went on the right side, you faced Kobe Bryant, who, whatever the DB award was it called? Was it Jim Thorpe Award? What is that called? I don't even know what it's called, but he won like the best DB in the country. And then on the other side, they had Ahmad Gardner, who is going to be a top 10 pick this year. So, I mean, you go to either side and you're playing one of the best corners in the league. And then also we played, what's his name? Michael Jaquette. He's from Louisiana Lafayette. He's a super tall, long guy. I think he played with the Eagles this past season. Elijah Riley from Army. I think he's with the Jets. So, every year we face some really good competition. I think those are some of the guys that really stood out to me, just being able to react and play within the confines of their defense. You get a guy that plays within their defense instead of solo. It's always a lot harder. So those guys did a good job of it.
Oh yeah. Well, you mentioned, Bryant and Sauce Gardner. I mean, that might be the best tandem of corners, in college. So, I mean, I definitely hear you there. Now I got to ask you, is there a favorite game that you played while in college?
Oh man. I think my favorite game that I got to play, unfortunately we didn't win, was versus Army. I can't remember what day we played it on, but like almost the whole campus showed up and they did the flyover, they parachuted in the ball. It was just super cool being there and getting to be a part of that experience. And then also I think it was like a double overtime game. We lost like on our 2-yard line, unfortunately, but we went down. It was like a fourth quarter drive, scored with a couple seconds left. It was an awesome experience and overall just an awesome game. So I think that was probably one of my favorite. And then, or you could say the Frisco Classic. We played in the first ever Frisco Classic this year and we won. So that was pretty cool.
Nice. And yeah, that just sounds like a really cool experience, like you mentioned, for the game, even though you didn't get the win, which is a bummer, but it sounds like it was still a memory, a good memory to have. But, looking at your position, what would you say is the most important trait for a wide receiver to have?
I think consistency is really important for a receiver. It's consistency catching the ball, consistency in route depth and timing, all those things, because, as you develop as a receiver and as you start moving up, I think it becomes less of like, oh, he's open, I'm going to throw it to him. And it's looking off of safety and trusting that that as a quarterback, your receiver is going to be in the hole at the right depth so that you can just turn and throw. So it's just consistency and building trust with whoever your quarterback is.
I like that. And I like your answer on that. Now you were a very productive college player, especially last year, almost 80 receptions, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns, saw plenty of contested catches, which, some may look at that. Oh, you didn't create separation. I look at it more as when you couldn't create separation in those certain circumstances, you came down with the ball, which is the most important thing. What would you say is your biggest strength as a player, coming off your college career?
Like you said, I think it's creating opportunity where most don't see opportunity. Some people, at least through this process, they've red flagged me as a guy that can't get separation, like you said, and who maybe isn't like a top elite speed type of guy. But at the end of the day, I think what I show is, regardless of if there's a guy on me, draped all over me, I come down with the ball. And I think that above all else, that's a receiver's job, is to go catch a ball and progress the ball down the field. And I think that is, what I do really well is I give myself an opportunity where most might not see an opportunity to catch a ball.
And as the draft approaches, has there been anything specific that you've been looking to improve on?
Yeah, I think, I have never had any formal speed training. So it's been an awesome off season, just understanding how to move my body in more efficient ways and, be more powerful and gain strength in areas that, I wasn't gaining strength in, just through different movements and different, workout philosophies and stuff like that. So I think I've gotten faster, my 40 times through different local days and different workouts have shown that. So, I think just my speed, my acceleration off the ball and getting in and out of breaks and stuff like that.
And now, Jack, I want to ask you, as far as the NFL, there's obviously plenty of answers here, a lot of great competition, some outstanding defensive backs. Is there one that stands out to you that you really want to go up against?
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love the competition of going up against whoever they say is the best. Like, I think going against Ahmad Gardner was so fun because nobody thought, he didn't allow up a touchdown. So unfortunately I wasn't able to do that against him, but it was just fun playing against a guy like that, who's very reactive and changes his game throughout the course of the game. And I think, Jalen Ramsey does a good job of that. Jair Alexander for the Packers does a good job of that. There's a bunch of really good corners that understand the game at a different level than just playing it based off of their physical ability. They have a true understanding and knowledge of the game. And I think playing against those guys is very fun because I think that's a part of the game that I take pride in, is understanding how to beat a defense as a whole and not just going one-on-one, my physical ability versus your physical ability.
For sure. And, we have to ask every prospect because during the season, we cover the LA Rams and most of the off season. So have you had any contact or spoken with the LA Rams?
I haven't. No, not yet. Hopefully. Sean McVay, he's a Miami alum, so we'll see. But no, not yet. Mm-mm.
Well, we hope at some point they get in touch with you, but I'll say this, it does not necessarily mean anything because we've seen guys that they've never talked to before end up going to them in the draft. So I think it's one of the conversations I think we had with one of the players once after, the draft happened. I remember them saying this thing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they said, it's funny because the Rams never showed any sort of interest in me. And then when they drafted me, I was like, that's not one of the teams me or my agent thought I was going to go to. So the draft is, it's a bunch of poker faces going on, and it's like, who's going to blink first? So yeah. I hear you there. But I'm going to ask you this question about you. Who is Jack Sorenson as a player and who is he as a person?
Yeah, I think, and I'm sure you've heard this one a lot of times on this podcast, but I think I'm a person that understands how to build culture and build a winning team. I was part of our first ever state championship in high school. And some people are like, oh, it's just high school, but we're a huge high school at Stevenson. We're 5,000 kids. So we've had the talent, we've had the teams. But I was able to be a part of a team and help a team win a first state championship. I went to Miami. They're on a however many decade drought of winning a MAC title. They had just lost, I think, 11 games the year before. And I came in and was able to help create a culture, create a team and push to win a MAC title there. So I think that I have a track record and a resume that shows I understand how to win and I understand how to lead a team and build a culture in a way that, understands how to win and build off it year by year.
Well, that's awesome. And just to close this out here, some non-football related questions, just 3. If you could recommend us a TV show, an album, and a snack, because I'm very into snacks when I watch the TV shows.
They have to connect.
All right. We'll see. TV show. I would say Yellowstone. I don't know if anybody's ever seen, if you guys have ever heard of it.
I've been hearing about that.
Yeah. Yellowstone. It's like a Western country type show, but there's like, murder mystery involved. There's drama, there's love affairs. So it's like, it's the best mishmash of every single type of TV show in one. Album. Oh my God, that's tough. See, the thing is, I'm not a big music guy. Like, I'm a big podcast, big audiobook. I don't know if that you call me old soul or whatnot, but I like that over that's what I listen to when I'm in the car. So I can recommend a podcast if
Yes.
you like like nutrition and fitness and stuff like that. Nick Bear does a really good podcast. So I like his. It's called Bear Performance. And then a snack. I'm a sucker for Cheez-Its. I love Cheez-Its. It's like my guilty pleasure.
We just had someone say Cheez-Its.
I love Cheez-Its.
Jack
They're so
Sorenson
good.
had a chance to be the greatest guest of all time if he just like out of the blue said, you know what podcast I really like? The Downtown Rams podcast. That's the one I listen to.
Just cut it back. I'll say it again, and then you can put that in.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's all right.
it's great.
It's all right. Well, the Yellowstone show, my whole family is obsessed with it, and I have not seen it yet, so I need to because that's all they talk about.
No, it's a commitment. So before you start, just be ready for it.
And
Yeah,
they have a prequel, right? They have a prequel show.
There's the
It's like
prequel show.
1883.
1883.
Like that, I think so.
I never
Yep.
bother with the dates because I'm gonna mix them up. So I just know it's 1800 something.
Yeah, 1800 something.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the recommendations. Thank you for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate it. We know it's a very busy time, but the draft is almost here. So very exciting. We would love to see you in a Rams uniform, but we will be fans no matter where you go. So
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
yeah, for sure. You have a great
Absolutely.
night, and we will definitely stay in touch. But take care and stay healthy.
Yes, I appreciate you guys. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely, Jack. Take care.
Yep, you too.